You are watching a Naber Kids video.
During the 40 years that I've been making dolls, I was torn between the methods of assembling the body parts. There are advantages and disadvantages to the three different methods that I've been using.
Now, carving the doll is one thing. Putting the parts together is another thing. We have this ball joint and it gives the head free movement. I've always done that with all of my dolls. But when it comes to problems and difficulties, it's the leg and arm attachments. The leg and arm attachments I've done, of course, in two different ways. The double string attachment as well as the ball joint attachment. The ball joint attachment works like this. You have the ball that will be at the leg, and it gives the leg a certain amount of movement, but not enough to actually be able to cross the legs, but it has an advantage. The doll will stand without doll stand. Now then there is the double string attachment, which would work like this. You have this double rope, braided rope, very strong. It's attached above this hump at the body, and it allows the leg freely to move about, even crossing the legs and sitting down.
I always wanted the Naber Kids to be really flexible and limber, not stiff. In the early parts, and still today, like Tally here, he is very loosely attached. In other words, he can cross his legs, his arms are very limber, and I call it the double string attachment, which is more like a marionette puppet. The disadvantage of this loose double string attachment is that you always need a doll stand to display my characters. Now then I came up with the ball joint attachment. The ball joint attachment allows the doll like Red Surprise, which is right now on eBay. By the time you see this video, probably gone and sold. She can stand on her own. She is ball jointed. Her movements are fairly free, but not as limber and not as loosely attached as with Tally here. But she can stand on her own and she doesn't need a doll stand. Well, I think. Okay. Now the other way is the in-between. Now Scotty here, he has the double string attachment while his legs are fairly limber. So with other words, he can actually, there went his hammer, he can actually sit down. Let me take the doll stand off. But he does need the doll stand to stand. Still torn between the three different methods. Each one has an advantage and each one has a disadvantage. So I will be making all of them in turn.